You've just escaped people attacking your house. Your parents are missing. You just found out they're spies. You're underwater. There are sharks passing you, and you're asleep? Talk about our weeks, guys.
Yeah.
Molly, how was your week?
My week was pretty good. I had another vocal audition.
How did that go?
It went actually surprisingly well because I had a couple of tequilas only 2 nights before, and usually like it takes like a 24-hour cycle and then my voice is back to normal, but was not the case this time. So good to know, learning experience. Had to sing kind of like operatically, so I wasn't like as great as I wanted to be, but I got really good feedback. It was funny though because someone referred me to this and I had no idea really what it was, except that I had to sing. And like they just told me what to sing, and I was like,
I do sing.
Okay, let's do it. And actually, it's funny because I recently got like launched back into my musical theater phase recently for no reason. So I've been like jamming out to all this musical theater this week, and then all of a sudden they're like, "Hey, can you do 16 bars of a musical theater song?" And I'm like, "Oh, yes, I can."
I thought you'd never asked.
I'm like, let me look at my playlist of 500 options. So anyway, I did that. So I showed up and I had to fill out this little form of like, just like the little entry, like what's your availability? What's your experience? Are you willing to do this? And it was so random because it was like,
wow, that's so random.
So random. But it was like, name, book out dates, availability here. Are you willing to wear a prosthetic nose? Can you puppeteer? And are you willing to learn if you cannot? It was like so weird. And I was just like, what am I if not a musical theater singing prosthetic nose wearing puppeteer?
Dance monkey.
During the holiday season.
It would have been so much funnier if you were like, I already am. And you just took off your nose.
I don't have a nose. It's a fake nose.
You're Voldemort. Were we not supposed to come to the audition with our prosthetic noses on already? Like,
gotta clarify these things.
Jesus. Oh my God, that's hilarious. So how'd it go? Did you get any feedback?
It went really well. What was I saying?
Did you book it?
Well, it was only like a couple days ago. Oh. But the girl who referred me after I left, she texted me and she's like, they said you were amazing, star eyes. And I was like, okay.
Oh.
And then in the audition, they were like, wow, you have such great tone and versatility. Can you do a British accent? Or no, they go, do you have a British accent? And the way they phrased it threw me because I was like, do you hear one? Like, so I was like, you mean like naturally or can I do one? And they're like, can you do one? And I'm like, they're like, have you done one before? And I'm like, at bars, I do them to mess with people. And I like just said that because I was not prepared. Oh, and they're like, can you just like introduce yourself in a British accent? And I'm like, okay.
Hello.
Sober? Like, I'll try.
And what did it sound like, Molly?
It was like, Whittly, my name is Molly Goosen, and this is my best accent.
Wait, are you from Lancaster? Is that where I'm sensing that from?
Yeah, it's a little Southland. Yeah.
Okay. Nailed it. A little too posh, though. I
know, I gotta muddy it up a little bit. I'm the Queen of England over here.
Ooh, too soon, Molly.
I'm sorry. That was. I didn't mean that to be topical. How was your week?
It was good. We're kind of a package deal today because we're attached at the hip and we do everything together.
And you do live together.
We do. You know what? We do have a bone to pick with you because you were at Sunday karaoke without us. We get a text in our group chat saying like,
we went over this.
No.
Not for the pod.
Not enough. We get a group text and she's like, oh my God, I forgot how much fun I have the second the tequila hits my lips.
Well,
yeah, she's like, I just killed Taylor Swift all by myself.
I did not say that. I did not brag. I just said I did this song.
Okay, whatever.
I'm going up solo again.
She's like, yeah, I'm about to go up solo again. Having so much fun here. Hashtag best day of my life. And Katrina and I are like, thanks for the invite, bitch. This bar is literally walking distance from our apartment, and we always go together.
First of all, y'all two go out together all the time with them. You don't hear me complaining. I'm like, oh, they're roommates, whatever. They hate me. Okay, I'll get over it myself. And I had a friend in town, and he picked the bar, and I was like, oh, that's hilarious. I'm a regular there. I didn't even know they had karaoke that night.
He picked that bar?
Yes.
Oof.
I told...
Yeah, who does that? We just go for the slime and karaoke.
The slime.
The sticky
like
floors.
the Nickelodeon green slime.
I wish. Oh my god.
What if you were like, if you don't do well at karaoke, they slime you? Oh my god, can we make a bar and introduce that?
Yes,
that would be
that's
amazing.
a dream come true. Actually,
they set you in front of the darts, and then you have to just dodge.
It's like, oh my god, you picked Alanis Morissette. Slime. We've heard enough.
Or what's up?
What's up?
Oh
my god, that's the song.
Everybody
Like every three songs.
Yeah.
Like it's not original.
No, pick something different.
And it's never a good singer either. And I'm taking deep breath. And I'm like, it's just
or they're trying to go like musical theater with it, and it's like very classically trained.
Speaking of, there was a phenomenal musical theater guy singing there, and he's going to come on Sunday. So you guys we're going to duet.
That's great if you do it well, and if it's a good song, then it's like, wow, great. Like there are people there that
Yeah.
sing Hamilton all the time. I'm like, wow, do it again,
Yeah.
please.
It was actually a big musical theater crowd.
Nice.
They were all doing show tunes.
It sounded really fun.
It was
and
really
Katrina
fun.
and I were at home like, wish we could come.
Guess we'll go to bed.
So mean.
We're there like every week. Well,
Okay.
I actually really would have. Normally, I'm a very like, the more the merrier. But I had already bailed on plans last time this guy was in town, and we've never met in person before. We're like Instagram friends, so I was like, I don't want to like be like, by the way, I'm bringing people, like, cause like
Whatever.
He can't handle us.
that's true.
We're
He would have
fun.
walked out.
Anyway, so
Katrina?
that's like, that's the major thing that we had to talk about at least a little bit.
Oh, how the FOMO? That was your weekly recap.
A little. But also I had some fun auditions, which I'm still waiting to hear back from. So
Can we hear details?
No, actually. Sorry.
Okay, fine.
Katrina?
I actually got to see my favorite producer on a Zoom call, and I got to talk to her, and that was a super cool highlight of my week because she loved me, Kelly McCormick.
She loved me.
She did. Everybody else
We're
asked.
engaged to be married.
Everybody else asked like really like pick me questions, and like if you need a backup, like you know who to hit me up for. And she's like, I'm a professional. I do this for a living, and they just were really trying to like pull it like, oh, I want to help you. Like I'll happily be on your next project. And she's like, okay, it's nice to meet you. But I asked like a thoughtful question, and I made the connection that we were both from Michigan. So yeah.
Because you're a consummate professional. And we see this a lot, like in casting director workshops. And they're just like, yeah, can I audition for your show? And I'm like, oh my God, just do the
Newbie.
scene.
Yeah,
like,
I didn't do that.
It's horrible.
No.
Please pretend you have a life for just one moment.
Great application.
Yeah, there was no desperation coming off of my voice, so I think I killed it.
Well, you never have desperation off your voice. You're like cool as a cucumber, still emo.
No, she would just rather not have anything to do with anything.
That's true.
She's like, actually, I don't
She doesn't
want
want to be here right now.
I was actually thinking this
I
morning.
have a gun pointed at her under the table.
Guys, be cool.
She's like, yes, I love girly movies. Yes, I love them.
Bring it on. I was actually I was thinking about this earlier that I like give no fucks about 95% of the things in my life, and then the other 5% I care too much. So it's really, I'm a disservice at either end.
Well, what was interesting is you were on a work call on the way here. I don't know if I can say that, but I've never heard you speak that way before. It was like such fake cheeriness. I'm sorry, that's what it was. And you're like, oh, yep, I'll add that slide to the PowerPoint and I'll do it on Monday. And I'm like,
we'll circle back to that in a couple hours.
yeah, like you were so happy.
Spoiler alert, I wasn't.
You should be an actor.
That's what I get to hear. I have the trait of listening to that side of Katrina.
Yeah, Rachel has told me my client voice is where I go up at the end. Not like that, not
she goes,
squeaky, but
and we're gonna circle back to that on Monday. And yeah,
Actually,
thank you guys so much.
can I get you guys anything else?
It was borderline Alvin and the Chipmunks back there.
Alvin! Okay.
What else happened this week? Oh, we went to a comedy show last night.
Yeah, we did.
That was actually really funny. We've seen these comedians 1,200 times.
Lots of times.
We were expecting to not laugh, but we had a lot of tequila beforehand, and we got soft pretzels in the middle of it.
Always helps.
And they were actually really, really funny. I'm not going to name the names, but
You were gonna, and they were really, really good soft pretzels. Is where I thought you were going with that.
That was my highlight.
honestly, the soft pretzels were the highlight. But
I was like,
the comedy was okay too. So
Yeah, no.
Should we shout out the comics?
nope, I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I just said that they were okay.
Oh, I didn't even hear that.
Like we've seen,
Yeah.
They were fun. They were funny.
Yeah, they
like
were.
we laughed, but we were expecting to not laugh.
Right.
Gotcha.
Because
Because of past,
Experiences.
history repeats itself.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
12,000 times over.
when the bar is so low, it's easy to laugh.
There is one thing that I will say about comedy shows, and I bet you'll agree with this, Molly. Katrina and I already talked about this. There's always 2 more comics than you want to listen to.
Oh my God, that is so true.
Yeah, the last
Or like
2.
4.
Well, I mean, at least 2.
When they have a huge lineup.
At least 2. There are at least 2 that you don't want to listen to.
Yeah.
And you're just like, God, I wish this ended.
And the host was like, and our next comedian, I was like, I'm gonna go to bed. And then after that, and our last comedian, I'm like, Jesus, can I leave yet? No, was the answer.
Especially if you came to see like 1 or 2 people and they have like 12 openers. And I'm like, you all should just be at an open mic at Flappers. Like, just do the thing. Like,
I do want to look up who was the host because I want to shout him out because I've never seen him before. And I think he's up and coming. He's also like a comedic actor and he slayed. He did some really good impersonations of like Joe Biden and who else?
He did Obama too.
What else?
Obama.
He did a lot.
Yeah.
While you look for that, who else slayed recently was our friend Trent Thomas, also a stand-up, who just opened for Eliza Schlesinger.
Yes.
Is that her name?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
At, what was that theater? Somewhere in a very scary part of LA, but he crushed it.
Editing Rachel here. That person was Ryan Goldshire, so shout out to Ryan. You killed it.
Do you have anything else?
I don't think so.
Is that a preview for the movie?
Oh.
They don't have any brains.
This is our podcast intro.
And on that note, we're going to talk about Spy Kids.
Woo!
Personal fave of my childhood.
2001. Let's talk about it.
Let's
Harry
do it.
Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone also came out, which is important.
PlayStation 2 and Game Boy Advance were the big consoles of the year. And PlayStation 2 cost $300 that year.
Oh,
wow.
I don't have anything to compare
That's
that
too
to.
much money.
Oh, okay.
Well,
I mean, I feel like things are more expensive than that now, right?
Yeah, but inflation and stuff.
Yeah, I guess. 2001 was the best year pop culture-wise. The iPod was released in October of 2001, which seems crazy to me.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Wow,
Really?
21 years ago.
Like the first one?
I don't know. It just said iPod was released.
I had the very first iPad look like a USB stick.
Yeah, me too. It looked like a pack of gum.
I still have it somewhere.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a
You should sell
relic.
it on eBay.
I
You'd
know.
probably make 1 cent.
In this economy, I'll take it.
Right. The best film, the Oscar-winning best film that year was Gladiator. And then the bomb of that year, I don't know who this is by, but it says the bomb was Glitter, starring Mariah Carey. And honestly, that sounds so on brand. I never even heard of that movie. But
I bet like the script was not the main focus of glitter.
oh no, it was probably body glitter
Right. I'd assume.
and like really high octave vibrato.
What?
Mariah Carey. I don't know.
All she wants for Christmas
Like
is
the whistle
you.
tones?
Yeah. Spy Kids came out in March of 2001, and the #1 song at that time was Butterfly by Crazy Town. Do you guys remember that
hate
song?
that
Is that
song.
I'm like a bird?
No, that's
no,
a bird.
That's Nelly Furtado.
Oh, you're
and
right.
I'm like a bird. This is Butterfly.
Different animals.
You're my
Be a
butterfly,
butterfly,
sugar,
sugar,
baby.
honey. Yeah.
Oh,
Come,
yeah,
my
yeah,
lady.
yeah, yeah.
Come,
Yeah.
my
I
lady.
hate that song.
I love that song.
You knew the words, Katrina.
I know a lot of things I hate.
He's like, I also know my responsibilities at my job.
I will hold my tongue on that one.
Another movie that came out during this time was Monsters, Inc. And here's a fun little fact about this that I thought was so cute. The voice of Boo from Monsters, Inc., Mary Gibbs, was just a toddler during production. The crew couldn't get her to sit still and read her lines, so they had her play in the studio while following her around with a mic. Isn't that adorable?
Oh, wow.
I want to do that
Don't
as a
adults
job.
usually do that for animation?
What?
Don't adults usually do the kid roles for animation?
Yeah,
Like
usually.
the Rugrats and
Yeah,
et cetera,
Jimmy Neutron.
and like such as.
Like and such as
That's
Africa.
adorable. That's cute.
Yeah, I liked that.
So a random fact and something that took way too long is that the 20 people accused of the Salem witchcraft trials
Yes.
were found innocent in 2001.
I read that, and that is crazy to me.
Since 1692/1693, it took all the way to 2001 to get their innocence.
Well, I'm so glad they have justice now. I guess they can enjoy that now.
So here's a sidebar. I went to Salem a long time ago, like 4 years ago, and there's all of like there's statues for all of the different witches that were accused. And I think there's an odd number. There's like 19, but there are 20 like little grave areas, and one of them didn't have a flower on it, and I felt really bad. But all the other ones did. So I like went and I picked a flower, which was probably a weed, but my intentions were pure. And I picked it up and I put it on the little headstone, whatever. And then only afterwards I realized that was the one that accused all the other people of witchcraft, and I'm probably going to hell.
Yeah, that explains all of our bad luck. Thank you.
You got to go back and spit on it.
God.
I apologized to the tombstones afterwards, but like
goes to each one. I'm so sorry.
The damage
was
was
so
done.
sorry.
Was everyone else just like looking at you like, what is she doing?
They were, and I was just like, guys, I'm being nice. Like this one doesn't have a flower.
You're like, guys, bullying, not cool.
Yeah, I'm
Cut it
sorry
out.
that this one's
Knock
like a
it off.
dandelion compared to all the roses, but like it's all I have access to.
Equality.
I know.
Oh man.
So, anyways, I'm cursed.
Obviously, that makes a lot of sense now, to be
does.
honest.
Yeah.
I do have one more thing. I just found this really funny. So in April 2001, Faith Hill was the cover girl on In Style magazine, and the description for this little magazine cover, it says, the wildly successful country singer Faith Hill brought a new do to the front cover of April 2001's In Style. Her messy part and face framing layers were a definite marker of the early 2000s. And I'm just like, wow, there is no little blurb that is more 2001 than that. So loved that. Anyway, so Spy Kids, shall we pop right into it?
Let's go for it.
Let's
All
pop.
right. So can we talk about first impressions? Katrina, you said that you haven't seen this movie in forever.
Yeah.
What's your take?
My mind was a little blown because this movie's weird, guys. Like, real weird.
It is.
It will take you by surprise if you haven't seen it before. You're like, what?
I mean, I saw it as a kid, so I knew a couple of like I knew what to expect. But when I rewatched it as a older millennial, I was scared. There were parts
Really?
that were, like, and I am.
She was trembling. I saw her.
And
She was clutching my arm the whole time.
my favorite
Miss Tarantino is scared of Spy Kids.
I was gonna say my favorite director is Quentin Tarantino, and I love horror movies and action films and everything. And this movie, it almost probably gave me nightmares.
Really? See, I
What
found it.
part?
Oh, we'll get into
The
it.
spies or the kids? What's scary?
Put those two hands together. No, you know.
Two thumbs together, you mean?
That was part
okay,
of it.
okay.
That was part
That's
of
fair.
it.
See, okay, the last time I saw this movie, here's a little story. I was in college, and my roommate at the time, we realized like that night that it was Cinco de Mayo, made no plans, and we're like, what? We didn't make any plans. So we went to the store really quick, bought some tequila, made margaritas, and we were like, I guess we should just like watch something, right? So we drank a lot of margaritas and watched Spy Kids and laughed our asses off the entire time. Great memory. That was, several years ago. So I haven't seen it since then. And my takeaway is that it's way more comedic than I remember. Like there were so many little like one-liners, especially from Floop, played by Alan Cumming, that were hilarious, that just slid right past me as a child and apparently as a like teenager.
It did give very like decom vibes, which I don't know who, I didn't look into who made it, but
Yeah.
it felt very like in that family friendly realm. I mean, it was a family movie, but
Totally, yeah.
But it was also made by Dimension and Miramax, who Miramax did all of Quentin Tarantino's films, and Dimension does like the Scream movies. So it's definitely got like a darker like production company tone, and also the Robert Rodriguez, the Bugs Bunny of this movie, because he is the director, the writer, the editor, the music compositioner, the music composer.
he had a story on his heart and he was gonna get it out there.
He had something to say.
But he did Death Proof, and he does all of these from Dusk Till Dawn. Like, these are hardcore movies, and he was like, you know what, Spy Kids, that's what I want to do.
It's brilliant. I mean, it stood the test of time, I think. I still got a laugh out of it. What do you think, Molly?
I saw it a few months ago.
This is in your frequent repertoire.
It's not in my annual viewing, but I would say every 3 years I watch it.
Wow.
I did have something that I forgot about until I rewatched this movie, and then all of the fear came back, is Junie, the little boy.
Yeah.
He has a bunch of warts all over his hands. And when I saw this movie, when I was really young, in 2001, I thought that was going to be a bigger deal in real life. Like you're just gonna get warts like all the time. And
from being nervous.
Yeah, and I was like, oh my God, I don't want all those like weird bandages on my hands all the time. And I was terrified about like just breaking out into warts.
Well, they also enhanced it by when he's putting like the medicine on, like he has like these like drops. They put a sizzling sound effect in, and I was like, was that necessary? First of all, that would never happen. It's not like it's like a hot frying pan. He's like, I'm like, it's a drop. Like, so that was a little gross. Also, I just want to say, fun fact, if no one knows this, the actor who played Junie is now married to Meghan Trainor.
Mm-hmm. No way.
Yeah.
Way.
Whoa.
Very, very left field for me. I realized a few months ago.
Their relationship is too close.
Should we talk about it?
No.
Okay. All right.
Well, you mentioned it, so you have to talk about it now.
They they go to the bathroom together.
I thought you meant that they're like cousins.
Oh God. No, they just have a very, very close relationship.
Oh,
They
that's
like
fine.
publicly stated that they I can't even.
They poop together.
They have 2 toilets next to each other in the bathroom.
The husband and wife that go together, I guess, stay together.
No, that's really weird.
Why we stopped talking about it?
Sorry, I thought you meant that they were like 2 related or something.
Just cut it out. It's fine.
Okay, so
No, I keep that in.
yeah. So right away, the beginning scene where it's like really cinematic, like dun, 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 and it's like zooming across the sea. I'm like, whoa! I am being transported into like an action film, and I loved that. I just have to say that.
That's a good action film.
But then the second it like comes in on Carmen, it's like, what are these like somber vibes?
It looked like an Olive Garden in that bedroom. The whole house, actually. It was like a fake, plasticky looking, like Italy.
I have comments on that. Yeah, it's like they were going for like an Italian villa castle, but got Olive Garden.
Yeah.
Well, it's in Mexico, right? That's where it takes place?
I actually was Googling this because I was trying to figure out what they were going for, and they said something like Texas, possibly Mexico, somewhere around there.
Because at one point she said she sneaks off to Belize.
I don't know where Belize is.
Belize
You better
me.
believe it. I don't know.
Well, okay, so the should we get into the plot of the movie so that people know who these characters are? Carmen is the main child, or the
Fuck it. Yes, the older child is the main child. Thank you. Moving on.
That's incorrect.
Favorite child.
Carmen is the daughter in this scenario, and Junie is the little boy who is younger than Carmen, which I think is important because he gets picked on a lot. And,
And also that could be a girl's name.
yeah, Carmen is a girl's name in my family.
No,
so.
I meant Junie.
Carmen is actually a boy's and girl's name in my family. So
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so they both could go both ways.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Okay, cool. So it starts right after like the somber moment and stuff. She's asking for this particular bedtime story from her mom. And then she starts asking questions mid bedtime story. I'm like, you asked for this story as if you've heard it a million times. Tell me the one about the spies who fell in love. And then she's like, okay, but what? And it's like,
she kept interrupting her mom so much that I literally yelled at the TV.
How could you have kids after that?
stop interrupting me. Shut up. Going to bed. No bedtime story.
I would have been like, okay, then you tell it to me, smarty pants. Like if you know the story, no, I'd make a bad mom.
Nah. But as she's telling the story, it's like flashback to their wedding and stuff. And I just have to say, the moment where she's like, the mom, where she's like in her wedding dress and she's pacing around and like all anxious before the ceremony. And then her anxiety hits a peak and she punches an ice swan in the jugular. I'm like, yes, I also do that when I get overly anxious.
Yes, destroy public property. Also, that reminded me of the Princess Diaries moment when she breaks the pinky off and it's like, and then she like just puts it in the mouth.
It's string cheese. He sees it later.
Oh, I feel like this was a trope, was accidentally breaking sculptures because it's like a
but she didn't
fancy-
accidentally break
That's
it.
true. That's
She
true.
sought it out and then was like,
she was out for blood.
"Ah," and then she's like, I feel so much better now. Let's go get married.
When I'm anxious, I actually request a statue to be brought to me so that I have something to destroy.
You know they
Swan
have
ice sculpture.
Put it of the face of your enemy. You know they have a place where you can go and just like break plates.
Yes, break rooms.
I had that too. It was called the restaurant I worked at. I would go to the dumpster. Oh man, sans smoke break. I was gonna say like so the little intro scene in the airport where they're like in their spy mode and they got the wigs on.
yes.
As a kid, I was like, this is the peak of coolness.
Yes.
Today, or the other day when we watched it, I'm like, they had a budget for this. Why does that wig look so ratchet?
Yeah, but also
the wig was bad.
Carla, what's her face, who plays the mom? She looks good in everything.
Oh, she's wonderful.
Wow.
I love her.
Wow.
Yeah.
Also, just a little note on her throughout the entire movie. I don't know if this was like an ADR situation, but why did everything she say sound so ASMR-y? Did you notice that at all?
I notice a lot, especially in these movies that we're revisiting, that's like, you know, like in Cinderella's story, Chad Michael Murray, he always talks like this quiet. And then Cinderella, or what's her name? Hillary, she's always talking like this. And I'm like, they must have had to like mic them differently or like ADR.
Yeah.
Which for anyone who doesn't know is when your sound gets messed up in a movie, you have to go back into the studio and like basically watch yourself as you perform, and you're on a mic and you re-record your lines like to the exact timing that you said them.
Yeah, so anyway, it just sounded a little ASMR-y at a lot of points. I'm like, that it's nice. Like, it has a nice sound to it. I was like, that sounded weird.
Soothing. I feel like they do a better job these days at balancing everybody's audio at a similar level today.
Yeah.
That was redundant, but.
Yes.
Also, when she finishes up the story, as a kid, I always heard, so she goes, well, they retired. I always thought she was saying they were tired. They were tired. And I'm like, oh, I get tired too. And I'm like, oh, so they just stopped being spies because they were tired. They were tuckered out.
They needed naps.
And what does she say?
Retired. They were retired.
Like from their jobs.
Oh, I, until this moment, thought it was they were tired.
I'm just here to educate.
Interesting.
Yeah, she slurred that a little bit.
I'd like to state for the record, I always thought it was retired.
Well, you're the smart one.
You are the smart one. Good job.
Yikes.
I noticed that a lot of this, I never noticed that as a kid, of course, because I was just like, eh. But as an adult, I noticed a lot of the camera work. Like they did a lot of really fun, like, oh, upside down and like looking way up and spinning and like really like dynamic, interesting stuff to like, I'm not a film person, like to like show like the mood and style and tone of everything that I never noticed before. Did you guys notice this?
No, I did not notice
There was like a ton of like really crazy like avant-garde, what do you call it? You know, when you like an angle.
I mean, the cinematography was
Yeah, there was just like a
specific to
lot
the
of
theme.
really
artistic choices.
specific stuff. Yeah.
Huh.
It wasn't just like a point and shoot kind of a situation.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I guess now that you say that.
Like a quick
Like
zoom
going into
and-
and going into the like Floop's castle and stuff. There was a lot of that.
Well, I appreciated that the movie didn't take itself too seriously, which is like completely the whole theme of this movie. Is that like they know it's weird, they know it's crazy, but like they're just gonna have fun with it.
Yeah.
Speaking of fun, weird, crazy, so Junie, the little boy, is obsessed with this television program called Floopies?
Floop's Fooglies.
Wow, I got that so wrong.
Notice the play on words, foogly.
Trauma
like
affects
fugly.
your memories. You were scared.
I was still scared.
Yeah.
So I saw this pop up, and this television show was on their TV, and I was disturbed. Like there's thumbs that are running around everywhere, which apparently
Thumbs.
right, but like Robert Rodriguez apparently drew those as a child, and he created those, and so he brought them to life in his work, and I was like, wow, that's scary that came out of your mind. And then not only were there
Says
thumbs,
the Tarantino fan.
Right.
leave him out of this.
It does feel a little bit like a fever dream, the entire thing.
It does. Have you seen those thumbs in your nightmares?
Yes.
Okay. I probably have as a kid.
It's the worst finger to pick too. I'm just gonna say that. But the other little animals or people, the monsters that were part of his cast, like the
Fooglies?
The Fooglies. Those are terrifying.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
as like an 8, 10, whatever year old when you were 2001 when it came out, but like now as an adult, they're still terrifying.
I mean, I was never scared of them.
Me neither.
but
Okay.
Maybe you're just like
Maybe
a
you're
wimp.
just a scaredy cat.
That's me.
I just remember that submarine thing that they blast off into out of their house to go to the safe house. I just wanted that so badly as a kid, like a cool little like submarine pod. But then later she like falls asleep in it. I'm like, how could you possibly be asleep right now? Wouldn't you be in like fight or flight mode? Like you've just escaped people attacking your house. Your parents are missing. You just found out they're spies. You're underwater. There are sharks passing you and you're asleep?
What if Carmen was one of those like pick me girls? She's like, I can sleep whenever. I can take a nap whenever I want. Like, I bet she's.
I'll prove it.
Yeah.
She wasn't like entirely too
"Dare me."
calm the entire movie.
Oh,
Yeah.
especially when they're like, not to jump forward, but like jetpacking over like the skyline, and she's like, oh, Junie, like don't let go. Like she's like so chill.
Yeah.
She's like about to drop her brother to his death.
Okay, this is also just kind of jumping around, but the food porn in this entire movie, did you guys notice that? Like,
McDonald's sponsor.
to the safe house, when they open the cabinets and they're like fully stocked, and then that thing where it looks like a little like Pokemon pack or something, and then they poke it in the microwave thing.
Hella poking things in the microwave.
And then it blows up into like a full-on meal magically. I just remember as a kid, like all the food things in this entire film are like either really good or really gross looking. Like the machete food was like, ugh, so gross.
Oh, and then later on when it's actually goo that they're eating. Yeah.
The green
the
goo
green
or whatever.
goo.
Which was-
at the Floop's Castle.
Which felt very Nickelodeon to me.
did.
It
was like
did.
green slime.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, so I just remember all the food was like,
I was always jealous of that microwave that turned like nothingness
I
into
still
a
think
burger.
about it.
I do too.
Yeah.
That is a core memory I have.
100%.
yeah, same.
Did you guys have spy toys growing up? Like, did you go through your spy phase?
Yes,
Oh my
because
God.
of this movie.
Yeah.
Actually, this is the nerdiest thing ever. This is one of the first movies that made me want to become an actor because check this out. I had the American Girl magazines, not the American Girl doll, but the American Girl magazines. And one of the articles in them, obviously in 2001 when this was coming out, was a behind the scenes pictures and whole article of what's the girl? Alexa Vega. So it was all about her behind the scenes experience and behind the scenes photos. And this was the first time I was in like first grade that I was like, oh, like movie making, like that's a thing. And this is a girl like about my age who's in a movie. And so this is one of the first movies that made me want to become an actor. So yes to the spy phase. I had all the gadgets and I would make all the kids in my neighborhood like reenact different scenes from Spy Kids and Harry Potter. So 2001 was my year for like, I'm going to be an actor.
It's my year. I so declare. I do declare.
I do declare I am a Spy Kid wizard.
I was just going to say, I can't remember what I had specifically, but I'm sure I had a lot, like from the walkie-talkies to like, there was an episode of Zoom, like the 90s like kids show, where they show you how to make a, like you put two paper towel things together and then you put a mirror inside and you can stick it around the side of a wall and then like look at somebody through it. Like
I had that.
Yeah.
I
like
had
a
all the
DIY.
gadgets, but my inspo came from all the James Bond movies that I watched with my parents.
That makes sense.
Oh, you were cooler.
Yeah.
Good for you. Yeah, I love the spy shit. I had, I even, like, my brother and I made little, like, spy belts like they had in Spy Kids. And I even put, like, a red crayon in the belt because she has that crayon at one point that, like, burns the
Oh, the
iron,
acid one.
Yeah,
Acid
the
crayon.
acid crayon that burns the thing open. So, yeah.
Oh, I love that.
I really tried to stay true to the movie there.
So there were a lot of cool gadgets, and the kids come and they save their parents from Floop's army of children spies that were created off of the imagination of Floop and Minion. Tony Shalhoub.
Very Minion.
Yeah, he was so phenomenal.
And also, like, what a brilliant actor who can go from something so silly to, like, utter brilliance with, like, Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. And, like, of course, he did, like, Monk and everything. But, like,
Monk was
what a versatile actor.
directly
He's
after
phenomenal.
this.
Really?
Like, yeah.
I found one other parallel. This is going back a bit to Princess Diaries, where Carmen has to say her full name to get into the house.
Yes.
We're going to have to insert that clip because I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
And she's like, Carmen, blah, 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 blah.
Your full name, please.
Carmen Elizabeth Juanita Ecosca Brava Cortez.
And then there's like the same as when she goes, Mia, Mignonette, Rinaldi, whatever the order is.
Yeah, Mignonette, Thermopolis, Rinaldi, Princess.
Yeah.
of Genovia.
That was right around the same time. I wonder if they were like borrowing ideas from each other.
Oh, probably. Another legendary actor, speaking of which, we have to shout him out, Danny Trejo. And we, before coming here today to record this episode, we got Trejo's Coffee and Donuts.
Woo!
Which
We're
is
little
right by
Trejos.
us. Yeah, we're little Trejos. He was phenomenal. He plays Machete, and one of my favorite little parts that I had missed until this time viewing it, where it's Carmen and Machete, and she's like, "You're a spy, aren't you?" And he's like, "What makes you think that?" She goes, "You're always traveling and no one knows what you do." And he goes, "I think everyone has an uncle like that." I was like, "LOL, true." But I just missed that little line. But he's great.
When they go into the virtual room, do we think that Mark Zuckerberg stole this idea of the metaverse? They basically walk into the metaverse.
Or just like virtual reality nowadays,
Yeah.
where you put on the goggles and
This
you're, like,
movie was
basically-
really
Also,
ahead of its time.
If you're in an evil lair, maybe don't walk into the room with all the arrows lit up pointing into it saying like, go into this room. Like that seems counterintuitive, right?
Yeah. But also like I always thought that Floop was, you know, kind of evil when I was watching it. But then I realized like, oh, he's just like a diva who's worried about his show. Like he's so invested in his show.
He's still okay with letting the captured agents be slaves in his show. He's still not good.
He's just an idiot though. That's
he
the
plays
thing.
dumb a bit, I think.
Yeah.
Can we do a quick little fashion report?
Yes.
I just wanted to say the mom in this movie, like nobody could pull off a slicked back pixie cut the way that this woman was rocking it. And a choker.
The black choker.
I noticed
even
that
the
too.
mom was wearing a choker. Like
Hot mom alert.
Like
holy
not
shit.
not to have like a horrible pun, but like what a chokehold these chokers had on this
meant
time.
that. You meant
I'm
that.
sorry. Okay. Even the mom was wearing a choker. I love it.
Yeah.
Fun fact, when I was a kid, I had this green beaded choker I did not take off for years, and my mom hated it. She's like, you have to cut that thing off you. I'm like, no, Mom, you'll never take it off me. I bathed with it, everything.
Oh my God.
It was part of me.
The amount of blazers that were in this movie as well, like those kids were
yeah.
nothing but blazers.
The kids have many outfit changes for the span of like what 2 days or something.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's really
they have like their school outfits and then they go into like their spy outfits and then the cool blazers and shit.
I love their blaze. I noticed a very strong use of maroon red in this movie.
Yes.
So
yeah.
like their house covered in it. The
Yeah.
mom wearing it almost the whole movie. Their school uniforms, the floor at the mansion or the
Yeah.
castle. Even Floop had an outfit, like a big coat with a coat tail that was like a maroon
Yeah.
red. I'm like, what is it with this color?
That's true. Blood. I don't know. It's also kind of the color that comes to mind though, because I feel like that was the cover. Like the cover art was like black. It was like fire colors, like black and then orange, red, maroon. You know, I don't know.
The
Maybe that's a
poster?
branding thing. Yeah,
Oh, I don't even know what the poster is.
well.
Fake fan over here.
Look it up. So the weird thing about the whole clay situation, I just have a little note here. Why is literally every adult in this movie a professional speed sculptor? Like everyone could like just take a ball of clay and turn it into this elaborate like face in
Yeah.
a matter of 1 second. That was crazy. To me.
Love to see what they could do with the Rubik's Cube. Also, yeah, like when he sneaks in like the chestnut to like when they're supposed to smash the brain. I'm like,
Oh,
you just
yeah.
had that in your coat pocket?
Yeah, the walnut.
Like
yeah.
a snack for later? Like
You guys don't keep
Little
walnuts
flop.
in your pockets?
no, only almonds, thank you. Also, Junie says every word. I know he's a kid. I don't mean to pick on him, but he said every word as if he was about to slip under anesthesia. Do you guys notice this? He's like, well, I get bored sometimes. Like he was so like on every line.
I think they just kept telling him probably like be more pathetic.
be whiny. Yeah.
More annoying as like
Yeah.
a little sibling. Probably.
Yeah.
But it was unsettling to me.
I'm so sorry about that.
Can I say really quick, there was a deleted scene that wasn't in this when we watched it?
Yes, we were hoping it was going to be in it, and it was not. So talk
So
about it.
when I had my 3-year viewing the other month, I can't remember what platform I watched it on, but there was a new scene that I had never seen before in it. And I was like freaking out. I think I messaged you and I'm like, do you remember this? Or am I having selective memory loss? And you were like, no, I've never seen that. So it's a scene right before they go and enter the Floop's castle and they like come up through that little water grotto thing. There's actually a whole like 5-minute scene where they're under that underwater cave and they're like, she says a line about like, don't pee or something.
She goes, it's warmer in here. And Junie goes,
Right.
I peed.
So yes,
Oh, I do remember that.
Yeah, but that's the
Well-
scene that was in it. But then there's more.
there's a whole scene that gets cut out of this for some reason and these were horrible CGI moments, but there was like a whole layer of sharks in this little grotto and Carmen goes, if you mess up the pH in the water, it'll wake up the shark, so don't pee. And then like 2 minutes later, Junie's like, uh-oh. She's like, what did you do? And they're trying to like unlock this like vault thing to get into that castle. And he's like, I peed. And they all wake up and they almost like eat them and then they
Yeah.
like get in there.
Yeah.
And I was like,
I mean, I get it. They didn't really need another like random stressful thing because they're already on like a stressful mission. But
and the
yeah.
sharks looked really bad, so it's probably better that they cut it out. But
Probably. You know, I wonder if that was on Peacock because Peacock does that with the Harry Potter movies. I was recently watching one of the Harry Potter movies and I've seen them a million times. Oh, it was the first one. Seen them a million times, know them by heart. And there was a scene that I had never ever seen before. It wasn't even like a deleted scene that were in like the featured things on DVDs and stuff. I had never seen it before.
I bet
So-
I bet that platforms are like competing by doing that, like seeing what they can put in.
Probably.
I think I watched it on Disney Plus, but I can't remember.
Yeah, that's interesting though. I love when they do that.
Blu-rays used to do that, like for retail marketing. They used to like pimp different.
You and your Blu-rays.
Blu-ray ambassador over here. Do you also carry the torch for like Redbox and Blockbuster stuff?
The original Netflix that comes in the mail.
I had it. I still have it.
You still have it?
I still have it.
Those little music clip things.
Hey clips?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Those were legendary.
She's like, these?
That was like the early iPod days where it's like you could listen, instead of an iPod, you can listen to 30 seconds of a shitty song.
Not even a good 30 seconds.
No. It was like the bridge of Genie in a Bottle or something.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, get down. Say it.
Who's got a juicy one this week?
Mine's not juicy, but I will say to all of the new listeners that my obsession forever has been popcorn, and I am derangedly obsessed with it. I have a popcorn tattoo. I eat that popcorn like it is going.
I love to watch you eat popcorn. It's hilarious.
It's the amount that you can, yeah. It's not just one bite at a time.
No.
It's how many kernels can you fit in your mouth at a time, and
it's violent.
Literally
Yeah.
every time I take a handful of popcorn, I'm trying to fit as many popcorns in my mouth as humanly possible.
Why do you do that?
I just have fun with it. It's just like,
It's a squirrel tendency. She's packing
it makes me happy. No, this is where it stems from. I went on my first date ever when I was 12, way too young to go on a date, and I was eating popcorn at the SpongeBob SquarePants movie.
Hell yeah, David Hasselhoff was in that.
I can feel the romance in the air.
It was, and so but we got popcorn, and I would like lean over and I'd take one at a time, and I was just so not true to myself. And from that day, I vowed to never eat popcorn like that again. And the second date I went on, not with him, but like ever,
Loser.
I grabbed that popcorn bucket and I was just like,
You sure you want to date me?
Wow, the personal growth at age 12. That's impressive.
Yeah, that's pretty.
yeah. I mean, I think I was 14 when I went on my next one, but I was with
Still.
with him. No, I was 15. Sorry. But we were together
Even still.
for 4 years. So
Yeah.
I stared him in the face and was just like,
Some nice like self-reflection.
yeah. And so I
that.
refuse to eat popcorn any other way now.
Cool.
It's one of
That's
my favorite
actually-
traits about you. I'm not even joking. We should
Yeah.
get an insert of her like doing that, just so we can like insert it at certain points.
Absolutely. She even recently bought my dog a popcorn dog toy. It's really, really cute, and it squeaks, and he loves it. And it came with a little Coke bottle, too, which he carries around by the straw. It's adorable.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. It's so cute.
Do you have any confessions or obsessions?
I guess I would say my obsession this week, and like this is embarrassing because I've been like out of this phase for many years, but as I mentioned, I'm back in my musical theater nonsense. So I've been like obsessed with Bonnie and Clyde the musical, which is one of my favorites.
Oh.
And I sang a clip of it for my audition. I actually sang 2 musical contrasting clips, and I just want to say for you guys, like for no perspective of like this world, it's Jeremy Jordan and Laura Osnes. Laura Osnes is like the Cinderella Disney girl of Broadway. Jeremy Jordan is like the Chris Pine of Broadway.
Yes.
He's like perfection. So the other day when I was like driving to get food, I listened to the whole musical in my car
Oh my God.
and sang the whole thing.
That's amazing. I love that for you, though.
So check it out. It didn't do very well on Broadway. I think it only lasted a few months, but they did have some kind of like Tony moment. I don't remember because I like discovered it after the fact. But
Gotcha.
Any musical theater fans, it's a really fun little Western, like jazzy, bluesy kind of.
Where can people watch it? Do you know?
Illegally on YouTube. Oh no, the Spotify cast recording is on Spotify.
Wow.
Sorry, the Broadway or like the official like recording studio recording is on Broadway. It's wonderful. It's on. Oh my God, Spotify.
The Broadway recording is on Spotify.
Yes, the official Broadway recording of this musical is on Spotify. You can find it. Bonnie and Clyde the musical.
Roger that. Yeah. Check it out, people. I don't really have any confessions or obsession. Well, okay. This is kind of nerdy. I've been talking a lot about Harry Potter this episode because that is, one huge building block of who I am as a person. But I recently figured out that I had a bunch of Audible like points or whatever that I hadn't used up. So I didn't know what books to buy. So I just went and bought the entire Harry Potter series on Audible, and I'm already on book 2.
You don't own them hard copy?
I do, but they're back home in Michigan because my sister was reading them. Shout out to Carrie. So yeah, there are 2 versions of audiobooks of Harry Potter. One is read by Jim Dale. The other is Stephen Fry. So I'm currently reading the Jim Dale one.
You should start a Harry Potter podcast.
I currently listen to Potterless all the time. That's my favorite Harry Potter podcast, and I just don't think I could top that. So I'm just gonna not touch it.
I listened to the Twilight Effect because I'm a Twihard. Also forgot to mention I named my cat Bonnie after Bonnie and Clyde. Bon
Oh
Bon.
shit! And I named my dog after
And I
in
don't
Harry
have,
Potter.
Aw.
and I don't have an animal.
Well, you have Ollie with me,
Yeah.
so Look at us.
We're kind of like your pets because we're like annoying and always by your side.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Thank you guys for listening.
Feel free to leave us a review if you like this. Feel more than free. Feel very, very welcome.
Feel
you might
obligated.
Get a shout out. Yeah.
Feel obligated.
Yeah. Feel like gun to your head, obligated.
Bonnie and Clyde style.
Forced, actually. Forced.
Yeah, because if you don't, I will call you and sing the whole musical to you until you're in tears.
She'll do it.
And I'll quote the entirety of Harry Potter. Book 1 to book 7.
5 stars, please. Thank you. Oh, and find us on Instagram at Millennial Drama Queen Pod. We're going to post some behind the scenes and sneak peek stuff there. So,
Bye.
bye.
Okay, whatever.
We'll work on that. We'll get better. This podcast is brought to you by Mastermind Media.